Hello and good afternoon, and thank you to all of you here in attendance and welcome. On behalf of the Sweetwater Union High School District Board of Trustees and Superintendent Moises Aguirre, I welcome you to the first ever event in our district, an event to commemorate the federal holiday of Juneteenth and the raising of the Juneteenth flag. I would, of course, like to acknowledge our distinguished guests in attendance, our board president, Nicholas Segura, board member Marty Emerald, and board member Elva Lopez Zepeda, as well as our superintendent, Dr. Moises Aguirre. In our audience today, we have a lot of our cabinet members, district administrators, folks from our school sites, our labor partners. I want to say thank you to all of you for coming out to this event and experiencing this with us. The historical legacy of Juneteenth shows the value of never giving up hope, even in uncertain times. Juneteenth is a day that commemorates when some 2,000 Union troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas, to announce that the more than 250,000 enslaved African American people in the state of Texas at that time were free by the executive decree. This day, June 19th, 1865, has come to be known as Juneteenth by the folks who were freed in Texas. And what's really important to know about this historic event is that the post-Civil War Emancipation Proclamation issued by President Abraham Lincoln took effect on June 1st, 1863, a full 2.5 years before Juneteenth. So as such, particularly in the state of Texas and other places in the South, African Americans were still experiencing slavery, which had been outlawed in the United States for over 2 years. So in fact, Juneteenth marks the true end of bondage in America, as well as it marks the country's second independence. Although it has long been celebrated in the African American community, this monumental event remains largely unknown to most Americans. But Juneteenth commemorates much more than the end of America's horrific practice of slavery. And perhaps President Barack Obama said it best. Juneteenth has never been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. It is a celebration of progress. It's an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, change is possible. And there is still so much work to do. And by still so much work to do, I have a feeling that President Obama was referring to the firm and unyielding stance we must take in continuing to protect and empower our children. Right now, this very moment, our schools are under siege. Daily, literally daily, there are threats of violence and violent acts on our campuses. We can hear and see and feel offensive hate speech on our campuses. There are efforts to ban books from school libraries, books about Rosa Parks, books about Jackie Robinson, or even President Obama. And there are efforts to ban classes like ethnic studies and African American studies and women's studies from our schools. There are efforts to repress the voices of young people and not allow them to participate in sports or to access the medical care needed to affirm their identities. So while this flag and upcoming holiday commemorate Juneteenth and freedom from oppression of slavery, we know we still have much work to do to free ourselves and our students from the discrimination and oppression that remains present in our hearts and in our society. And lastly, while raising flags has become a bit contentious in our society, especially recently, we all need to recognize that this Juneteenth flag, this American flag, that any flag that we raise is but a symbol, a symbolic gesture to provoke a thought or feeling, or to create an association to an identity. As a symbol, we have to recognize it as such. Our work cannot end once this flag goes up this flagpole. Our work to protect and empower our students, our work to address discrimination and bigotry and hate, and to hold those accountable who spew it. Our work cannot end once this flag is raised. The flag must symbolize our constant efforts to empower our students and ourselves, and to make our schools places where all students can explore who they are as young people and the positive impact they will make in our global community. Now, as we get to raise this very important symbol, I call upon our district board president, Mr. Nicholas Segura, to make some remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on this historic occasion. As the president of Sweetwater Union High School District, I am honored to stand before you and celebrate Juneteenth as a significant milestone in our nation's history. I would like to recognize a few dignitaries that have been recognized, but you can never be recognized too much, is my fellow trustees, Emerald and Lopez Cepeda. Thank you for being here, as well as Dr. Nageti and all the staff who's here. I'm very proud to see that. We are proud to observe the importance of Juneteenth for our African American communities and allies today. Juneteenth represents the emancipation of enslaved African Americans, marking the day when news of their freedom reached the furthest corners of our great nation. It is a day that symbolizes hope, resilience, and the pursuit of equality. By raising the Juneteenth flag here at Sweetwater Union High School District office, we are proudly recognizing and paying tribute to this pivotal moment in our collective journey towards freedom and justice. Our school district strives to create a culture that embraces diversity, empowers our students, and uplifts the voices of every member of our community. By raising this flag, we are reaffirming our dedication to educating our students about the importance of Juneteenth and the ongoing fight for equality. As a school district, we are actively working to embed inclusivity and respect within our curriculum, hiring practices, and policies. We strive to create an environment where every student feels welcome, seen, valued, and respected. Thank you again for everybody for being here again on this momentous occasion. Together, let us raise the Juneteenth flag high and pave the way for a more inclusive and just future for all. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Dr. Aguirre to come forward. And Dr. Aguirre, if you have any specific remarks you'd like to make, and then we'll lower our California flag and our U.S. flag and add the Juneteenth flag to the flagpole.
Thank you, Dr. Moore. For me, I want to express a tremendous sense of gratitude and truly the humility of the moment to acknowledge the sense of importance that this has for our community, particularly our African American friends, our students, our staff, and all of those who are allies. And so on behalf of this district, I want to say what a tremendous honor it is to be able to acknowledge this moment, to be able to acknowledge our history, and to make sure that we're sharing a true account of our history so that we can learn from it and form a more better and perfect union as called for in our founding documents. Hopefully this symbolizes that we truly are hoping to make progress towards all that we hold dear, those values that we profess, and that we want to ensure that our next generation learns from us, and again, really brings us together as a community. So with that, let's raise this flag.
Keep going. There you go. Hold on. A second. All right.
These events, as even as brief as they can be, or they don't happen without a bunch of teamwork. Each of you in your hands, and if we need to make more copies, has a little fact sheet about the Juneteenth flag and what it symbolizes. There's also just some more information about Juneteenth, and that QR code leads to some of the resources and activities that we are doing here in our district. I'd like to, of course, thank the Educational Equity and Support Services Division for putting together the flyer that you have and the information. One of our team members, Dr. Becky Bravo, was very instrumental in creating the document and getting today's event going. I'd also like to thank specifically our Legal Services Division and Patrick Concepcion. Patrick's been guarding the Juneteenth flag all day, making sure that we have it to raise. I would also, certainly it would be remiss if we didn't shout out Jenny Carbucci, our General Counsel, for procuring the Juneteenth flag and making sure that we had it to celebrate today. None of this happens, without each one of you and your dedication and service and work. And I've got my team of administrators here sitting on the front row. Thank you for all of your support. As President Obama mentioned, we have a lot more work to do. This is but a symbol that starts the work and acknowledges the work of what we've done, and really starts the work of what we need to be doing to make sure, as our board president mentioned, to create an inclusive schools for all of our students to thrive and excel. Once again, thank you very much for coming out and celebrating this with us.